Alrighty, so it is August 16th. It has been a good while since I did a garden tour because as usual this time of year I get very discouraged by how things look. But I did get a little bit of a pepper harvest and I dropped that one today. So the cucumbers are obviously looking pretty bad this time of year. It's still got a couple of baby ones on it, so I'm going to leave it be until those are harvested. I've gotten probably 10 cucumbers. But yeah, I've gotten probably like 10 off of these cucumbers, and I will say I'm not a fan of this variety because they get big really quickly, obviously, but the centers are then hollowed out and very seedy. So, I mean, they're good for young pickles, I'm sure. Young cucumbers. But I'll likely grow them again just to get rid of the seed, but they're not my favorite. And then this side of cucumbers literally did nothing. There's a little bit of a vine there. This marigold took over. It was a volunteer and I just let it go on. Same with this one, I believe was a volunteer, and I let it go. The one I actually planted back there, I had to pull up because it fell over in a storm and it just didn't look good anymore. And then this zinnia I just staked up, so that's why the flowers are bent over. But this one turned out to be like a light pink, and then that one's obviously. Yeah, so far this year, the zinnias, some of them do have that leaf spot, but this one does not. So we're doing pretty good. The worst one is the canary bird over there, as far as leaf spot. And cosmos, I definitely think do better when planted from seed, because that cosmos right there that's really green and has really pretty flowers on it, that reseeded itself from this plant, and it's doing much better than the ones that I transplanted ever did. And the bachelor's buttons are obviously fading. We had a real bad storm last week and everything pretty much fell over in the storm. But then here's those tomatoes that transplanted late, and as suspected, they're pretty stunted in growth. I did come through and fertilize the pepper plants with an all-purpose fertilizer, a liquid one, and as you can see, this plant is doing that's pretty as far as the pepper plants and their growth since the fertilization. I've seen nothing but positive stuff. A lot of the spots that were on them are slowly going away, and I'm noticing more blooms. So far, the best performer in the garden this year was the Jimmy Nardello peppers and the sweet banana peppers. And the poblanos have done pretty well. I've harvested none of the giant Marconis, none of Sweet Heat, and none of the bell pepper varieties. I've harvested a couple of Cubanelles. But here are the pretty zinnias. I did just come through and deadhead these. And I'm noticing a bit of the spot on some of them, like that one right there, but it's nothing too alarming. Usually by this year, they're covered in them. So I did pull up all the beans, and as you can see here, the cosmos that have reseeded themselves are doing way better than the ones that I transplanted ever did. I am noticing, since the fertilization, I've noticed some peppers, and I believe this is the Sweet Heat variety. It could be Giant Marconi though. I can't quite remember. I'd have to turn around and look. But the eggplant didn't do too well this year. I've harvested a couple and very small sized ones. Yeah, they're just not doing too great. I noticed a lot of blooms on them right now, so maybe they'll start producing as it gets cooler. But yeah, these are the Giant Marconi peppers. So these honestly were the ones I struggled with the most. They just didn't seem to do well. I think they had some aphids to begin with from the nursery, and then, yeah, just didn't do great. Alrighty, so yeah, these peppers have done the worst out of all of them, the Giant Marconi. Although I am seeing quite a bit of growth on them right now, so that's promising. Hopefully we'll get some. From past experience, I have noticed that in the fall, when we're getting into cooler weather, the pepper plants do tend to produce a bit more than they did throughout the summer. So, and this poblano has quite a few. Get him framed there. But yeah, here is the canary bird zinnia, and as you can see, it has a bunch of those spots on it. And now, the jalapenos, I hadn't got anything, but they'll start producing is when it gets cooler. These ones, I believe these are the sweet heat. There's tons of them on there, and I'm not sure when I'm supposed to harvest them. I don't know if they're supposed to be bigger peppers or not. But yeah, and then let's see. The calendula didn't do much. I think it's more of an early. This really pretty zinnia. I love this pink. It's so bright and cheery. And like I said, I did just deadhead everything. So, and the okra this year, I think it's because of the placement. You can see a bunch of pods coming on there, and there's even a bloom right there. So, I mean, I'll obviously get some okra. Still got plenty of time for that. But the zinnias were crowding these two, so as you can see, they're pretty puny. And I don't know what's going on with this pepper. It's just been very curled, like it's not getting water, but I water it, so I don't know. Maybe it needs fertilizer. I'm kind of scared to fertilize it, but we'll see. And then I did just pull out the planter because it was disgusting. Obviously the watering didn't work out. I put some marigold seeds from the marigolds in the back bed. I just took a couple dead heads off and put it in there, so hopefully we'll get some marigolds for fall, and I'll probably do that one. But the zinnia is still doing pretty good in that one, so I don't want to, but I need to. And then this is the sunflower, and I counted 13 bloom heads on it. Of the evening mix sunflower, and I'm thinking, I was trying to get a peek here. Whew, it looks like it's hard to tell what exactly the color is going to be on this one, but this one looks like it's going to be a yellow one, so that's been a fun little thing to have in the garden. But yeah, all of these are the bell peppers. This back half is bell peppers, and I'm seeing some blooms on them, but I haven't got a single bell pepper. And then the tomatoes, I did have to pull out the yellow pear tomato. It had blight so bad, just it wasn't doing good. These, all of them have blight. I'm thinking I'm going to try to stray away from the Oregon Spring because they're just not a good variety for our area, I don't think. I've gotten a gazillion cherry tomatoes, and there's still even more. I came through and I started to prune it because it has blight, and I was trying to, just make it look a little bit better because it was looking really bad. Harvested 2 baskets of potatoes already. Got a decent size harvest, probably enough to make 2 batches of mashed potatoes. Still have these 3 baskets to go. This is the bee balm that never bloomed this year, so I'll have to Google that and see if it's supposed to bloom the first year. But then this is the zucchini rimpicante squash, and I am letting this one get to winter squash stage. But I can also save the seed from it. I've completely taken this bed out. The corn, so the first planting of corn, we probably got like 10 ears out of it. They're very small ears, so definitely probably 3 rows of corn instead of the 5 would probably be better. The second planting of corn, we got nothing from. It started to, I don't know what you call it, but the tassels started to come before they were even like knee high, so I just pulled them up, and I went ahead and planted some collard, spinach, and green leaf lettuce here. Nothing has come up, so I will try that again. And I did pull up the marigolds, and I left a couple that were just a bit smaller. But yeah, as far as the zucchini rimpicante squash, it was a success. We've probably gotten a total of 10 to 15 squash total from the zucchini rimpicante, and as you can see, there's the one I'm letting go to winter squash stage, and there's 2 more that are already turning tan, so I'll probably just let them go as well. And then there's a green one there that I'll probably harvest pretty soon. So those did really well. The butternut squash did extremely well. I think I got 9 squash. I did learn that, and there's one right there that I just noticed today. It is better for me to grow those on a trellis, because when some of them did branch out into the walkway here, when I went to harvest those, a lot of them had holes in them from worms or bugs or something, some kind of pest, and I basically had to toss those out. And we've already eaten 2 of them, and I made that ravioli, and they had pretty good flavor, just like the ones I bought in the store, so pretty pleased with those. 10 to 15 squash total from the Zucchini Rampicante, and as you can see, there's the one I'm letting go to winter squash stage, and there's 2 more that are already turning tan, so I'll probably just let them go as well. And then there's a green one there that I'll probably harvest pretty soon. So those did really well. The butternut squash did extremely well. I think I got 9 squash. I did learn that, and there's one right there that I just noticed today. It is better for me to grow those on a trellis, because when some of them did branch out into the walkway here, when I went to harvest those, a lot of them had holes in them from worms or bugs or something, some kind of pest, and I basically had to toss those out. And we've already eaten 2 of them, and I made that ravioli, and they had pretty good flavor, just like the ones I bought in the store, so pretty pleased with those. The Zucchini Rampicante squash tasted pretty much like any other squash, so really good. The pole beans that I put in here really haven't been harvesting too much. That one too didn't really do much with it, but kind of made things even messier. I mean, you can kind of tell, like, it's all jumbled up there. But these are the sweet potatoes that had started to put off starts from last year, so I went ahead and plopped them in this grow basket, and I plopped 3 more back there. This is one of the zucchinis, or I actually think this is a squash. I can't remember, but it's one of the only ones that actually grew from that 2nd or 3rd planting, and so I'm just going to let it be and see what happens. I did pop in, you can see them every so often here. Let me see, I can't remember what these were. That's the kale that we got from the Bell Seed store. And I did plant some carrots, Danvers half-lawn carrot. I think it was just in this section, and I see a couple of them come up. I can reseed if I need to. I got plenty of seed. And there's the other bee balm. All right, and then my flower row, which I will say has been definitely a learning experience, but I love it. Like, it's just so pretty. And Rudbeckia is exactly what I had hoped it would be. Like, it is one of my favorites, I have to say. It's so pretty. And the helichrysum, I didn't realize what it was going to be, but it is straw flower. So you can kind of hear that. It's very much like paper. They're so pretty. This color is very fall-like. There's this yellow, and then that pink right there actually turns into a really bright pink. You can kind of see it, a bright pink there. And then the Gomphrena, it is very pretty. I'll definitely grow it again. I just had bad luck with the variety that I got. And not the seed variety, I'm talking about the color variety. I planted like 6 plants and got 5 white and 1 pink. Which is kind of like a fuchsia pink, actually. So it is what it is, but I mean, look at that, it's so pretty next to this Rudbeckia. So yeah, I gotta figure out where I'm gonna transplant these, because they can't stay here. This is gonna be an experimental row, so I can't keep the flowers here. The Echinacea has done very well. I did come through and deadhead to see what it would do to this one, because like I said, this is an experimental row, so I want to see if it's going to put on new blooms. If Echinacea is one of those plants that does need to be. Yeah, so we'll see if it does need to be deadheaded, because I did cut off most of the blooms. I left a couple because I do want to save some seed. I had one of this more fuchsia looking color already. The head was dead, so I did cut it off, and I'm going to save the seeds from it. The forget-me-nots, I came back and cut off all the bloom stalks, and as you can see, it did indeed put on more bloom stalks. So I think this is one of those plants that does benefit from a mid to late summer pruning, and it will come back. Now, one thing I did not know with forget-me-nots is how the seed pods are. The seed pods are little pokey balls, and they stick to clothes and pants and shoes and socks and everything, which is honestly probably how it spreads its seeds so readily, from what I've read. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if I'm going to leave it or if I'm going to try to honestly, I think, now that I'm thinking clearly, I believe a forget-me-not is an annual, and it just reseeds itself. So I probably will confirm that, and then pull them up, which is going to be hard because they are the spiky little seed heads. But yeah, these, I'm trying to figure out how to collect the seed off of these things, because I have yet to see a dead flower head. And I don't see any seed pods, but I do keep seeing random little ones pop up. And I don't know if that's just the seed that is just now germinating from earlier this spring or what. I mean, just look at how big that plant got in 1 year. That is amazing. And this is the other one that we planted later, and it's just now starting to put on some heads. Ooh, keep hitting that, you know. So yeah, that is the garden tour. It looks kind of sad, but it is what it is this year, honestly. I'm trying to give myself grace in how this garden looks, and also taking it all in. And the tomatillos, I won't grow those again probably. Ooh, there's a hummingbird. It looks kind of sad, but it is what it is this year, honestly. I'm trying to give myself grace in how this garden looks, and also taking it all in. And the tomatillos, I won't grow those again probably. Ooh, there's a hummingbird.